Hey, how's it going? It's me, Woo057, and today we are doing something very interesting. I've done this one before, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about that fanfiction I've wrote one time, and I'm still working on. This is O.L.D Explained, Introduction to the Thing I've created. What is O.L.D? Well, it's short for Origins of Light and Darkness. When I was still writing, hold on. When I was still writing it in Word documents, it was called Soul World at first, but yeah, that name didn't sit right with me. So when I put it onto a fanfiction website, I've changed it to Origins of Light and Darkness. It was written by me, Woo057, in 2016. And it still gets occasionally updated to this day. So what's the premise? It's first and foremost a crossover between multiple different shows. That includes One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, High School DxD. Don't ask me why, I just thought it would fit right into that. Sonic the Hedgehog later on, also later on Steven Universe, Undertale, Smash Bros. There's also some bits of Helltaker in there, and here and there some other characters from other shows. Later on there's a full entire spin-off I've started writing that is basically just My Hero Academia within that universe. The basic premise of it is the forces of darkness and the power of light have an avatar that is a combination of their concept. So kind of like the real Avatar, but they have power over light and they have power over darkness. These dark avatars are fated to fight one another. Whoever wins that fight dictates if the next century is controlled by the forces of light or the forces of darkness. These avatars get reincarnated once every century to start the cycle over. So if like the avatar of darkness dies, it takes like 100 years for a new one to be born. The current cycle takes place on Earth. People are able to use mana. It's basically a mix between chakra and ki. You have to imagine like basic energy blasts and beams that is like basic control over mana. But if you really harness the power of mana, which comes in different elements, I should have put this in there now come to think of it, but I'll make an entire video separate to how mana actually works to this. If you like focus on different aspects of it, like whatever element you want to use, you can use like, you know, fire release or wind release from Naruto. Devil fruits exist on Earth, so there are a lot of devil fruit. Okay, not a lot, they are quite rare, but devil fruit users exist in this universe. People are able to learn armament and observation haki if they train enough. Only a few people can use conqueror's haki. Yeah, like just like in One Piece, only like 1 in a million, maybe even less than that, can learn Conquerors. Also, I've made it that Saiyans are unable to use haki. That they are genetically unable to do that. I know haki is basically willpower, but I kinda needed something to nerf characters like Goku and Vegeta so that characters like Luffy and Naruto can keep up with them. And also quirks from My Hero Academia exist, but they appear rather rarely at the moment. There's like an event later on that basically increases the number of quirks in the world. So let's start off with the prologue. Prologue before the story. The year is 1913. The Earth is in the midst of the Light and Dark War. The forces of Dark are led by Madara Uchiha, Roxy Zebek, and Frieza. The forces of light are led by Hashirama Senju, Monkey D. Dragon, Woosman D. Riku, and the Saiyan Bardock. The power of light and dark were split up into 4 avatars this time. I also will at some point make a video on how all the previous avatars of light and darkness and the entire origin behind that title drop. The avatars of light currently are Monkey D. Luffy, Naruto Uzumaki, Issei Hyodo, and the Saiyan child Kakarot. The avatars of dark are Madara Uchiha, Frieza, the current holder of the dragon Albion, and Roxy Zebek. So like, hold on, where was it? Yeah, so there are also like sacred gears from High School DxD. So like, Issei still has the thing, the boosted gear that makes him turn into the Red Dragon and all that, but they aren't as common. The forces of light get pushed back further every day. The current light avatars are still children and are unable to fight the darkness. During an ambush, they get sent by Kozuki Toki 100 years into the future to be safe after a raid on the last base of the light. With those four, also Riku's sons, Ren and Marcel, and Issei's brother Tatsumi get sent as well. Ren is 7 and Marcel is just a few months old. Prologue, the 100-year time gap. The forces of light get almost completely decimated. Only a few remain. A few splinter groups that still manage to fight off some parts of the dark forces. The Earth becomes the main headquarters of the Freezer Force, basically. So they are still out there, taking over planets and all that. Rox dies in battle against Monkey D. Garb and Gold Roger in 1991. Prologue, after the time gap. The time travel messes up a bit. Kakarot reappears earlier somewhere in China and is raised by Grandpa Gohan, and is now known as Son Goku in 2009. Ren and Marcel show up in Green Village in Germany and are raised by the villagers in 2013. Monkey D. Garb, in this reality a distant relative of Dragon, but he says he is their grandpa to not mess with their hands, finds Luffy and raises him together with Roger's son as Ace. Issei and Tatsumi are raised in an orphanage in Japan. In 2027, Marcel at age 14, due to a lack of being able to use mana, drinks from a fountain of power near Green Village to gain that ability. That fountain, however, was possessed by the dark being Yami, the copycat demon who copies Marcel's appearance. Yami is like... oh yeah, I didn't mention it. The first avatar of light is basically called the Light Warrior, and the first avatar of darkness is the Dark Devil. And the dark being Yami, the copycat demon, is basically the right-hand man of the Dark Devil. Basically, he copies Marcel's appearance, and Yami is now referring to... I cannot talk. Yami is now referring to himself as Lekram, Marcel backwards, pronounced Lesram. And he attacks the village and possesses Ren. After trying to stop him, Lesram uses his decay power to destroy Marcel's left arm and right leg. Ria's Gramarye finds the injured Marcel after Lesram escapes and brings him to her hideout. So yeah, he's basically possessing the brother of my OC here. This is gonna be important later on. And Marcel wakes up with the new mechanical limbs in Ria's base. This is also... I don't know why, but at some point most of my OCs would just have mechanical limbs for some reason. You know that my guy, the guy I have, he has like also a mechanical arm and a mechanical leg. That's kind of based on this guy. Anyways, Rias is the leader of the rebellion group, and she asked Marcel to join her cause to overthrow the four Dark Kings. Marcel, now equipped with mana, mechanical limbs, and an unending determination, joins willingly. So yeah, he basically he drank from the fountain. He now has immaculate access to mana, but well, he had to pay a price for that. However, Rias changes Marcel's memory. He now thinks Ren died that day and was killed by Lesram and 5 other people. Yeah, I had to retcon that later on, because I was thinking, this is stupid. This is stupid, and I had a better way to resolve the entire thing when I was writing the MHA spin-off. In the same year, Luffy joins the rebellion group after a young Marshal D. Teach fights Garp. Both get severely injured, and Garp later dies of his wounds. Him and Marcel start training and start to become good friends. In 2029, Issei gets attacked by dark soldiers and severely injured. Tatsumi gets kidnapped. They don't see each other for years after that. After he gets kidnapped, Rias finds him, turns him into a demon, and gives him access to his locked powers of the Red Dragon Drake. This is where he unlocks his sacred gear, basically. He had that from his beginning on. In a different video, I will elaborate for what reason. I don't know what the canon reason in High School DxD is why he has that, but I have a reason why he has access to this year in this game, in this universe. He starts training and going on missions with Luffy and Marcel and becomes friends, basically brothers with them. Between 2029 and 2030, Krillin and Asia Argento, a nun with healing abilities, join the rebellion group. Okay, we start off with the first official arcs and saga of the series. Origin Saga, where it began. The year is 2030. In Kokoyashi Town in the south of Sweden the Kokoyashi Town in the south of Sweden is occupied by dark soldiers. Nami, age 13 at that point, a petty thief, regularly steals food and supplies from their bases to keep herself and her sister Nojiko alive. One day she steals a weird white fruit, eats it, and it absolutely tastes horrendous. The soldiers find out about her stealing the fruit, and they secured it for Blackbeard, who has been searching the land for strong devil fruits. That fruit that she ate was the snow fruit, the one that Monet had in One Piece, which people were theorizing years since the end of Punk Hazard. People were theorizing that Nami would eat the snow fruit. And yeah, I made it that canon in my story. And this basically gives her the ability to control and create snow. The soldiers catch up to her and threaten to arrest her. But then Marcel, who's on patrol in that area, witnesses this and steps in. He promptly beats the soldiers. He offers Nami to join the rebellion. She accepts since she's no longer safe as a mere civilian. And they head to the base and Marcel starts to train her in how to fight and how to use mana. That's also where she gets like the Climatex. That's like a weapon they found one day during the raid of a minor Dark Force base. They go on to their first mission. After that, they have to take down Gecko Moria. They fight a small zombie army, defeat Absalom and Dr. Hogback, but are nearly overrun once Moria summons the giant zombie Ors. They get safe when Ors spontaneously combust into black flames. Roronoa Zoro and Vince Sanji appear to help them out. Both are traveling mercs and mercenaries who get hired to take down officers of the Dark Army. They join the group and start fighting Moria. Luffy shifts into Gear 2nd, Marcel uses Mana Blasts, Nami pelts him with snow, etc., all that shibaz. Moria gets defeated by Luffy using Gear 3rd. The group returns to the base, Zoro and Sanji join them properly. They prepare for the next mission. They want to storm the Canyon Fortress in Spain to free Boa Hancock from it. She's a childhood friend of Luffy in this canon. A week later they head towards the fortress. It's basically, so you have to imagine it's like Enya's lobby, but instead of the huge hole in the ground, it's just a canyon. They try to plan something, but Luffy just storms right into the base, taking out soldiers left, right, and center. And the others follow shortly after him. The special unit CP9 is stationed here, and also Nappa, one of Frieza's soldiers, who is a Saiyan. Luffy takes down Bruno easy using Gear 2nd. Krillin battles Fukuro, you know, the guy with the zipper mouth. Issei fights Kumadori, and that both takes place on the 2nd floor. Marcel and Nami fight Nappa and Khalifa on floor 3. And Marcel gets pushed back a bit, but then activates his technique, Overdrive, to take him down. So let me explain how Overdrive works. So it's kind of like his version of Kaioken in Gear 2nd. And you have to imagine he has like these mechanical limbs. And they are like particle accelerator thingies within that arm. And when there's like 10 in his left arm, his arm, and 10 in his leg. And he can force like mana through one of these particle accelerators. And those basically enhance his mana and his attacks. And that's how he activates his overdrive. But he is only able to do that because of the mechanical limbs. Khalifa gets beaten by an electrically charged snow spear after that. Hold on. Zoro beats Kaku using Ashura. Sanji defeats Jaburo with the Diablo Jambe on the 4th floor. Luffy faces off against Rob Lucci on the roof of the tower. Rias and Asia head to the basement and attempt to break Hancock out. They however need 7 keys to open that lock, and each CP9 agent has one. Krillin beats Fukuro with a Kamehameha attack. Issei struggles against Kumadori and forces Drake by consuming a weird drug he found during a different mission to give him more power. Issei then promptly activates his balance breaker and gains a crimson red armor. He goes into a frenzy and absolutely demolishes Kumadori. He gets knocked out of the tower. The tower has a hole in it. Another hole because Krillin basically blasted another one in there with the Kamehameha attack. He loses consciousness afterwards though because the power strain is too big. So yeah, Luffy beats Lucci with a Gamma Hawk Gatling and throws him off the tower in the process. So another hole. At the end of this, the tower basically collapsed. How much? Because of all the damage they took. The group escapes the fortress and heads back to their base. Hancock joins them once they're home. 2 weeks pass and Issei recovers from the exhaustion of forcing his balance breaker to awaken. The next plan is to invade the state prison that's located in the north of Africa. They want to free as many prisoners as possible. Many were rebelling against the government in a way. They travel there and just walk in through the front door. The prison goes underground for about 100 meters and has like 10 floors. The group fights off dozens of guards and soldiers on the way down there. This was also, I wrote this arc because I wasn't willing to write like different arcs where basically they gather enough people, like all the Straw Hats, the Z Fighters, some of the characters from Naruto, which basically don't have a big role in this one, and they actually don't really have a big role in this one until like the fight against the 4 kings, and later on I have some things planned out during the MHA spin-off, but yeah, that's it. I just needed like a 4th antagonist, and Madara Uchiha fit perfectly for that. They start freeing everyone they come across. Most people just go upwards to flee from there, but a few join the rebellion downwards into the prison. They come across the prison's warden, Magellan, on level 5 with the poison devil fruit. Luffy, Marcel, and Krillin start to fight him, but they really can't do much against him. Krillin gets hit by Magellan's patented Hydra attack and gets severely poisoned. Right as they were about to lose those, Goku shows up and blights Magellan with a solar flare attack. He then gives Krillin a senzu bean and they start attacking Gordon with ranged attacks and push Magellan back till he falls off the bridge on that level. And they can continue onwards. They reach the final floor at one point, but right as they arrive, they get attacked by Kizaru and Bartholomew Kuma. It's basically, I needed them to train a bit more, and I needed a time skip. So they stand no chance, and Kuma just teleports them away one by one. Luffy ends up on an island near the Mariana City, the home of the fisherman Merfolk, which is near the Marianas Trench. He enters the city, befriends Jinbei, and helps taking out Hody Jones, who took over the city and planned to storm Empire City. This is rather a short arc. This is basically Fishman Island. He takes them down, and all his officers, they try to storm Empire City, but Frieza just shows up casually in his first form and kills all of them. Okay, actually to show off, he as the fight goes on, he just constantly transformed like he did on Namek until he reached his final form and just disrespectfully killed all of them. They are dead. They are mercilessly slaughtered. After defeating Hody, Luffy manages to contact the other members of the rebellion. He decides that everyone should stay separate and train for the next 2 years. Everyone agrees and they will meet up in 2 years near Empire City to take it down once and for all. I haven't written this down, I think. Did I? Okay. I haven't written this down. But, they get all sent in the different directions. Issei, for example, lands in the Himalayas and trains with a cloaked figure that kind of knows how his power works, and after that he is able to fully use the balance breaker without any drawbacks. So yeah, I haven't really completely elaborated on that one. During the 2-year time skip, everyone gathered allies to help storm Empire City. Luffy got the Fishmen to help him for example. On the 31st of June 2032, the forces of the rebellion arrive at the gates of Empire City. They are joined by one of the biggest branches of the rebellion, the Whitebeard family, led by Edward Newgate. With a massive earthquake attack, Whitebeard makes an opening into the near impenetrable walls of Empire City. Out of the chosen ones, only only Naruto, Issei, and Luffy have appeared. Goku is still not here. The three of them storm in and take down some more higher-ranking soldiers of Blackbeard's units and low ranks of Frieza's forces. Here's also like a thing I made in MS Paint, how basically Empire City looks. So here's like the outer city. Here's are the impenetrable walls around that. Here's like where Whitebeard burst through it. Here are like smaller houses, some farms, industry, and here's like where actually people live in the inner city. In the midst of it is King's Palace, so that you have like an idea how I imagined it. It's kind of Attack on Titan inspired in that case. Zoro starts taking down a lot of sword fighters until he reaches Shiryu, one of Blackbeard's commanders, who took the clear fruit from Absalom after he got killed once Moria failed his job 2 years ago. Sanji faces off against Vasco Shot, a drunkard who has the powers of the alcohol fruit. Nami and Rias come across Katharina Devon, Devon? People argue how it's pronounced, who has like the powers of the fox fruit, Model QB that allows it to turn into a nine-tailed fox. Not Kurama. It's just like the yokai or whatever from the Japanese mythology. And also gives her access to shape-shifting. She almost gets the upper hand by turning into Nami's adoptive mother Belmere, but Rias helps her to see through that illusion, and they defeat Katharina Devon together with like a mix of demonic blast and a huge thunderbolt. Krillin, Gohan, and Vegeta, a former member of the Frieza Force, start taking down many members of those soldiers, of Frieza's guys. They take down people like Kui and Dodoria, but struggle when they get to Zarbon. They manage to take him down with help from Usopp, a skilled sniper from South Africa, who managed to throw Tabasco into Zarbon's mouth, catching him off guard. Yeah, that scene was basically they were fighting against the transformed Zarbon, and he started yelling at them, and right at that moment he shot like a bullet that was covered in Tabasco, like he did with Mr. Five during Little Garden, and that threw him off guard, and Vegeta basically managed to kill him with that. After helping to take down Zarbon, Usopp faces off against Blackbeard's best sniper, Van Augur, who has like the warp fruit. And they basically snipe each other down from the different parts of the city. Like one's on the forward part and the one of stuff on the other, and they constantly hit each other. Issei faces off against Jesus Burgess, owner of the power fruit. He struggles at first, but manages to overpower him by using his balance breaker. And so that's another one of Blackbeard's guys down. Marcel continues to take down several Frieza soldiers, Blackbeard's officers, and a lot of Madara Zetsus. He has like in the fourth Great Shimonobi War, he has like a bunch of Zetsus that are weak foot soldiers. You know, quantity over quality. And he nearly gets hit by a building that turned into a giant fist. That's the work of Avalo Pizarro and his island fruit. He can control the entirety of Empire City, basically. I should have mentioned this before I went into this. Huge spoilers for the entirety of One Piece. Maybe Naruto as well. Yeah, so he can like basically control the entirety of Empire City because it classifies as an island. Let's say it classifies as an island. But with the help of Whitebeard, Marcel is able to take him down. Basically, he destroys a lot of shit with his earthquake abilities, and the real body of Pizarro feels those earthquakes. Because when something he controls... There's a plane. Because when something he controls gets destroyed, harmed to be damaged, he feels that on his real body. Pizarro gets... Oh yeah, I mentioned that. He gets taken down by Whitebeard's earthquake. Frieza slowly pissed that all his best soldiers are easily defeated, so he sends out the Ginyu first to fight his Goldo, that should be Goldo, who managed to prevent Vegeta's group from advancing further. Yeah, his time stop abilities and, psychokinesis bothering them a lot. Or telekinesis, whatever the hell it was. Vegeta managed to overpower him, and he beheads him like in the Namek saga. And after that, Rikum faces him and easily takes him down. Right as he's about to land the finishing blow, he gets stopped by a punch in the gut. It's Goku, who finally appears. Rikum faints after that hit, and the next two, Berta and Jace, have to step in. However, they also get beaten with no effort by Goku. When Ginyu starts to fight Goku and is about to switch bodies with him, a random soldier gets kicked in the way of the attack by Krillin, and that one switches bodies with Ginyu. Vegeta kills all of the unconscious members of the Ginyu Force and 2 body swapped ones. I didn't like the soldier and Ginyu in their separate bodies. Frieza then finally decides to enter the battlefield after his best soldiers died. Right off the bat, he attacks the Whitebeard group and takes them down one by one. Yeah, before the fight, he turned back into his first form, and he constantly transforms, like he did with the Fishman pirates. But here it's because they are quite packing a punch. He has to transform into his second form when he fights Vizsla, into his third when he fights Yozu, and into the final form when he faces off against Marco. He reaches his final form, and then he just bombards Whitebeard with a barrage of laser beams and bringing him to near death. Whitebeard, literally on death's doorstep, turns to the palace where the other 3 kings still are and tells them that the dawn will come and will end the night. He then dies, like in Marineford, standing upward. And yeah, I see that there are some typos here and there. Teach is finally ready to enter war and wants to take Whitebeard's Devil Fruit. He then gets interrupted by Zoro, Sanji, and an enraged Podcast Ace. Teach, who planned on using Whitebeard's powers to become more powerful, can barely hold his own weight against the 3 of them, begs Frieza to help him, but that guy simply shrugs and leaves Blackbeard to his demise. You have to understand, the 4 kings basically just worked together because, well, they thought it would be easier to take over the world working together, but they actually despise one another. The only person Frieza can somewhat tolerate of them is Madara. Because, I don't know, they seem to get each other, but otherwise they hate their guts. They hate their guts. Teach managed to take down Sanji and to severely wound Zoro by using unhanded tactics. And it's now Blackbeard vs Ace, and the latter is having a hard time against Teach's Devil Fruit nullification abilities. Nothing about Ace changes in this canon, he still has the Fire Fruit. Right as he's about to finish him off, Luffy appears and hits him into the face. He then instantly activates Gear 4th to efficiently take down Blackbeard. Frieza prepares a huge energy ball to wipe out the entire city, but gets interrupted by Vegeta, Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. They can barely do something against him. Marcel, who's still recovering from his fight, gets randomly attacked by Madara Uchiha, who also now steps in. The king claiming that he has to take him down now before he learns to use his full power. This is massive foreshadowing. I'm not gonna say that my guy is pretty broken, but he could in the last few arcs. He is basically quite powerful, but it takes a lot till he gets there. So I think I've written him not that Mary Sue-ish or Gary Stu-ish in my head. Marcel is at that point confused what he thinks what he means, while dodging Madara's attacks as best as he can. This gives him an idea that he's using his overdrive not properly. Like I said, he has 10 of those accelerators in both of his limbs, making that 20. So he stacks an overdrive over on top of an already active overdrive, achieving overdrive times 2, and then overdrive times 3. So he has the 3 out of the 10 accelerators in his arm are now spinning like crazy. And he is then finally able to do something against him to some extent. Madara activates. Sorry, that's That's the German version. How that I or something. I've typoed that a bit. Madara then activates Susanoo and just punches him into the ground, making him unavailable to continue fighting. Madara then just grabs a random sword, is about to kill Marcel, but is hit by a Rasengan and stopped from that. Naruto and Sasuke are here to fight against him, and they are actually able to do damage against him. Naruto's like pulling out mastered QB chakra mode. He's like KCM, was it KCM 1? Yeah, either KCM 1 or 2. He's, let's say 2. I didn't really elaborate on that those characters' story. Let's say he is at that point able to use QB chakra mode 2, the one he used against when he fought like against all the tailed beasts. Issei wonders where the fourth king Vali Lucifer is, and yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't appeared yet, and he goes straight to the palace to fight him. Frieza then easily manages to beat his enemies and actually finishes off Vegeta. Yeah, Vegeta is just dead. Goku appears and enters the fight, and he is more on par with Frieza's power compared to the others. Yeah, he was a bit damaged from the Ginyu fight, got healed up, and due to the Zenkai boost, he's able to face off against him. Teach pulls out the gun and just shoots Zoro as he was about to get up again. Seeing this and assuming he's dead, Luffy explodes in rage and releases a huge burst of Haki and surprisingly for some reason mana. Yeah, Luffy is unable to use mana. He is not able to use that, hence why he had to rely on Haki. But he now kinda can use it for some reason. Teach is shocked by this power, saying that someone actually managed to achieve the D mode. I've posted this on my community tab. The D mode is like a transformation that also will get relevant later on. The D mode is a transformation of the D clan that gives them an enormous power boost and gives them access to the powers of their ancestors. Luffy, who can't use mana, is now able to use the mana skills of his father Monkey D. Dragon. And we don't know shit about Dragon so far, but in my universe he was like actually quite good at using mana. Issei starts fighting Valley and they seem very much on par. And Luffy overpowers Teach and beats him with a punch straight to the chest. He actually in his rage kills him. I know Luffy isn't really the guy that kills people, but like he was actually quite pissed. But he isn't really dead. Instead of falling over dead, he turns into a dark cloud and flies back to the castle where the cloud gets absorbed by Valley. Valley in that regard grows in power and is now stronger than Issei. He mocks him and is disappointed that they are related. Issei is a bit confused by that statement and mentions that he only has one brother, that being Tatsumi. Valley of course laughs at his lack of knowledge of his bloodline. In the next video I will cover what the hell that means. This is quite the foreshadowing, and after the Four Kings saga there is like an arc where this will get explained. Frieza had enough and just kills Krillin to piss off Goku. Overwhelmed by anger, his power rages immensely, and we get the legendary moment where he turns into a Super Saiyan. Of course, in this canon, Earth isn't gonna blow up, because why would I? That's where most of it takes place. So yeah, Namek isn't really a thing that happens here. He instantly starts to mercilessly beat him into the ground. Frieza realizes he can't win this fight and lets him get absorbed by Valley as well. So there isn't like Frieza reaching 100% form. He just, okay, no, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go for Plan B. What you're up to is gonna be a fucking nightmare to you. And he just turns into dust. Turns into the smoke cloud and gets absorbed by Valley. Madara does the same, and once Valley absorbed them all, his eyes turn pitch black and his voice gets deeper. Since all the four parts of the Dark Devil are united, he is basically reborn in Valley's body. The Dark Devil himself, the first avatar of darkness, is now possessing Valley. And he has like access to the what's it called? Vanishing Dragon? The silver one that has the ability to divide power. The Dark Devil teleports himself and the four avatars of the Light Warrior to the far outskirts of Empire City. He starts fighting Goku, Luffy, Naruto, and Issei at the same time. He hits him with darkness-based attacks and mana beams and blasts. His body also instantly regenerates any kind of damage, like a Rasen Shuriken cuts him into half, and he just instantly regenerates, like he has Buggy's Devil Fruit. But it looks a bit more gory, so Marcel then realized that Dark Devil is basically invulnerable. Nami asks what you can do now, and he takes off his jacket, revealing a weird symbol on his back. It's kind of like a clock, and it's like on quarter 4:12, like the one hand is on a 9, the other's on 12. And he explains that he asked Rios for a failsafe plan. That this is a spell that constantly collected mana from the nature around him. He has this on his back for like... He had this like in 2015 or so. 2015 or 2016, it's been collecting mana from the nature around him, kind of like how Sage mode works. And this is so highly concentrated that it'll blow up the user within a minute when released. This isn't a power-up, this is a nuke. This is a nuke strapped to his back. Nami tears up about the fact that he wants to sacrifice himself. Marcel explains that there is no other option and gives her a hug as a last goodbye. He heads off to Ria's location to activate the bomb spell. She's taken aback by that statement as well, but understands and fulfills his offer. And the timer starts ticking. Once released, Marcel feels an immense surge in power and immediately heads off to the location of the fight. The moment he arrives there, he puts the Dark Devil in the full Nelson like Goku did to Raditz, and holds him onto him until the bomb explodes. He then turns to Luffy and the other four. Luffy, Issei, that's it for me. I'm taking one for the team. Gotta take this bastard out somehow. Tell the others I'm sorry I won't be coming home soon. And I'm glad I can call you two my brothers. See ya. And with these words, the bomb finally goes off and Marcel and the Dark Devil get engulfed in the explosion. The four heroes want to mourn their fallen comrade, but are interrupted by a black suit of armor that appears out of nowhere. It's the Dark Devil's true form. He had to turn into that to withstand the explosion. That means he is now able to be permanently damaged in that form. He can't regenerate himself. The regeneration is only when he possesses somebody. When that body is for some reason completely destroyed. He can for a tank which means when he does that though, he is vulnerable, so he can turn into his true form when it gets destroyed, the host of his power. The four start fighting the Dark Devil within, but he still overpowers them quite easily. They all get knocked out and find themselves again in some weird white space. A white suit of armor greets them and tells them that this is the realm of light and introduces himself as the Light Warrior. He bestows upon them the power to unite and bring him back into the real world. The heroes combine and turn to the Light Warrior, this marks the first fusion of the series. There will be more later on, not that many, but a few more. He instantly starts fighting the Dark Devil and hits him with powerful light attacks, like a bright light Kamehameha, light-based Razengans. He has access to all the powers of the four heroes. He can use the Rasengan variants. He can use Kamehameha. He has the power of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. And he occasionally gets power boosts from the sacred gear Issei has. Which, it's kind of funny that a demon guy is basically one of the four parts of light, but, even if you're a demon, you still can be a representative of light. It just isn't, black and white in that regard. Dark Devil tries to hit the Light Warrior with a huge meteor of darkness, but he blocks it with his Barrier of Hope. A move that blocks every attack as long as humanity still has a hope for a better tomorrow. I know there is an attack Android 17 used in the Tournament of Power that is also called Barrier of Hope. However, this was written before that happened in the DBS anime, which means this predates Barrier of Hope. from that Android 17 uses or something. I think there was a move that's called that. After a huge clash, the Dark Devil gets impaled by Light Warrior's sword and gets split back into the Four Kings. Frieza gets launched into space during the split, the others land on the ground. Light Warrior kills the three to prevent them reforming again. The Dark Devil can't reincarnate though, as long as Frieza is still alive. He will come back later, but he won't be able to play that much big of a role. Light Warrior then splits himself up and sends the 4 heroes all across the globe, except Goku. He gets sent to the planet Yadrat, where he learned instant transmission. And I just made that because I need him to have instant transmission. Even though Namek wasn't a thing that happened. The soldiers of the Dark Army slowly surrender after their leaders got defeated. Only the rest of the Freezer force flees from the planet to regroup with the soldiers stationed on other planets. They basically find King Cold and join him. The rebellion starts capturing the enemy soldiers, taking care of the wounded combats, and collecting the dead bodies of both sides. Empire City becomes the new base for the rebellion, where they are still doing operations where they try to take down minor groups all across the world that follow the ways of darkness, that still want to take back the rule for the dark side. So yeah, now we're coming to the end of this. This is the end for this episode. These were the first 2 sagas of 10, not counting the MHA spin-off. And next time we will continue with the post-war saga and the Naso Cell saga. For a while this will follow like basically the Dragon Ball Z story, but with added bits. And to those who know a bit about Sonic, the name Naso seems similar. Which means this is gonna be the part where another franchise will get introduced. The Sonic franchise will join the canon of this next time we're covering the series. So yeah, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'll be seeing you next time. I don't know when that will be. I'll have a lot of writing to do for the next part. But I hope you will enjoy it. See you guys around.